I think there are three key elements to foster the development and the adoption of pets. First, privacy laws should provide legal certainty around pets and incentivize the use of pets. Second, and Bojana mentioned that in the beginning, regulatory guidance is necessary to educate on benefits and limitations, but also to clarify the regulator's view. Where does it make really sense from a regulator's perspective to use pets? What are the use cases? And every regulator also in Europe has a little bit different views. So it's highly appreciated, if we hear from regulators to gain a little bit more insights into their thinking. And third, cooperations between technology providers and standardization efforts driven by industry players to reduce costs and to provide pets as a service, as a product, which can be easily integrated into compliance programs. That are three core or key elements. And let me just touch upon the first point I mentioned, the legal certainty. The European General Data Protection Regulation mentions pseudonymization 14 times in the legal text. And policymakers provided a good amount of clarifications and incentives around pseudonymizations, for example, when using data for new compatible purposes, or when it comes to fines, if you have implemented technical and organizational measures, including pseudonymization, that has to be taken into consideration by regulators, and that can reduce the fines. And the European legislator also clarified that pseudonymization and use of pseudonymized personal information is possible within the same entity controlling the data. That is great. But the legislator did not provide clarity on the requirements around anonymization properly. And many EU regulators and courts follow a very strict interpretation, which makes it virtually impossible to anonymize data as long as any other person could, in theory, identify the respective individual being subject to the anonymization effort. And that is also mentioned in the PETS paper. A recent decision of the European General Court followed a more practical interpretation of the concept of anonymization, but to gain really legal certainty around the concept of anonymization, which applies in Europe under the GDPR, we need a final decision of the European Court of Justice. And that will leave us with more than 6 years of unclarity and uncertainty after the GDPR entered into force in May 2018. And just to be fair, there are many, many privacy laws which do not even mention pets, anonymization, de-identification, or pseudonymization at all. But this debate in Europe has and had a clear impact on the uptake of anonymization techniques. And for example, the question if homomorphic encryption is suitable to compute on anonymized data, or if privacy laws do apply in the end.